Hello YouTube. I'm going to teach you today how to make a surreal piece of art using Gimp. This tutorial was adopted from www.gimp-tutorials.net, and I'm just going to make a video version of it. It's really easy to do, and it's pretty good for beginners. Start by making a new image 500 by around 640 pixels, and make a new transparent layer over the old layer. Select your path tool, and make a path in the upper left, center, and bottom right hand corner. And now, by clicking in between the paths, you can bend them upwards, and the bottom two you're going to be bending downwards. This should sort of make an inverted S shape. Look just like that. Okay, then once you've done that, I'm going to select my brush tool and make sure it's on sand dunes. This is a preloaded brush that should come with Gimp if you have a newer version. Select Windows Dockable Dialogues, and then select Brushes and put the spacing down to 6, and then you can exit out. Then go back to Windows Dockable Dialogues, and then go to Paths. Select the unnamed path, because this was the one that we made earlier, and select Stroke Path. And of the bottom, once selected, stroke from a brush, and have emulate checked off, and then you can hit stroke. And it should come out looking something like that. Okay, now that you have that, you can hit filters, distorts, polar coordinates, and put the exact same information that I have on the screen right now. 100, 0, and then the right box checked. Okay. And now we're going to be giving it some wind. So filters, distorts, wind. And we're going to be 12 and 6, and all the top selections checked. And then click OK. And now we're going to re-polar coordinate it to get the final shape. Click distorts, polar coordinates. And the same thing as last time, except you're going to have all 3 boxes checked. Now it should come out looking something similar to this. It's okay if it doesn't look exactly the same, it just has to be similar. Okay. I'm just going to rotate mine to straighten it out a bit, but you might not have to do this step. Okay, now we're going to be making the sphere that the arch is going to be holding. So on a new layer, select the ellipse tool, and have fixed aspect ratio checked off to make a perfect circle. And make a circle selection, something like that. Place it where the spheres is going to be going. And now on a new layer above the arch layer, that's filled with transparent, you can go to your gradient tool, have yours on radial going from white to black, and stroke down towards the right. You should get an image that looks something like that. Okay, and now on your arch layer, zoom in first, on your arch layer, you can erase the arch where it's blocking the sphere. You can leave some of the wind down below, but you don't have to. I left it in here, it looks pretty good. You can erase all of it over the sphere if you'd like to. Okay, now you can merge that down, and that's our one arch holding a sphere. Now, select the move tool, move the active layer, and move it down towards the right. And now, mine's too big, so I'm going to be scaling it down using the scale tool, but this is an optional step depending how big yours turned out. So I'll be scaling mine down. Pardon me. And that looks about right. So move it down to the right hand side. And now we're going to be making 2 more of these. You can recreate them, but it's much easier just to duplicate the layer. And then move the layer up. Now this one's going to be farther back, distance-wise, than the other one. So we have to go to Scale, and we have to scale it down. And now we also are going to rotate it a bit, just to make it a bit different from the other one. And blur, Gaussian blur, and I blurred mine, I think, around 14. Yeah, 14. Okay, and you can move it off to the right. Mine's bleeding off the page a little. I think it looks better. And that makes it look like it's further back and out of focus. Now we're going to do this one more time, repeating all the same steps, except I just rotate mine the other way, but scale it much smaller, and Gaussian blur it much more. So there, I scaled it. I'm going to rotate it forward, just to differentiate it a little, and then blur, Gaussian blur. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Gaussian, and I blurred mine by 18. Okay, so it looks good. Now you can merge all these arches down into one layer. Now we're going to be giving it a background, so select the background layer, and I'm just going to do a simple gradient just from the top left hand to the bottom right hand. So make sure you have your gradient tool selected. Mine's just going to be linear and just white to black, bottom down towards the right. Okay, so this is the final finish. If you want to give it some color, you can just select any brown color, or any color if you want. I just went with brown. And on a new transparent layer above the other layers, fill it in with this brown color or any color you've selected, and then set the layer mode to overlay. Okay, so that's it. From the image quality that my Cam Studio can produce, it probably doesn't look as good or high definition as it does right here, but this is the final effect. It'll look probably good when you do it and can see it on your own screen. Like I said, go to www.gimp-tutorials.net to see the written tutorial.